Good morning, boys and girls, Grace kids. I have a game for you. Today, I want you to guess a biblical character who I am. My great-grandfather was Abraham, Father Abraham. So if you know who I am, turn to your mother or your father or your brother or your sister and tell them who you think I am. My grandfather was Isaac. Who am I? My father was Jacob. Who am I? I am the 11th of 12 boys. Who am I? And I was actually the favorite. Do you know who I am yet? Well, I was so favored, my dad gave me a coat of many colors. If you haven't figured it out, I'm Joseph. So, the king needed me because he had a dream. And in his dream, he saw 7 plump, attractive cows. And then in the same dream, there came up 7 thin, ugly cows. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, there's 8 here. Do you know the difference between knowledge and wisdom? Knowledge is knowing how to count. Wisdom is actually applying that knowledge to counting correctly. So somebody didn't count correctly here. Do you know where brown milk comes from? It comes from a brown cow. All right, so 7 plump cows, and then in the dream, the 7 ugly cows ate the 7 plump cows. And this really disturbed the king. He did not know what this meant. Do you know what it means? Can you guess what is meant by the 7 ugly, thin cows being eaten up or eating up the 7 plump cows? Can you interpret the dream? If you can, you're very wise. You must have God's wisdom because that's the source of all wisdom is God. And so God gave me the wisdom to interpret dreams. So this was the first dream that the king had, and he had no idea. He had all the wise men from all around the country. Think of the wisest person the smartest person in your class. These were even wiser than that smartest person. And they couldn't figure it out. Human wisdom is not as good as God's wisdom because God made us. He's the potter, we're the clay. Well, the king went back to sleep and he had another dream. This time he dreamed of 7 ears, plump, attractive ears of corn. And there were 7 of them. And then there were 7 thin, sickly looking ears of corn. And the thin, sickly ears of corn ate all of the plump corn, all 7 of them. Can you interpret this dream? None of the wise men in all of Egypt, the smartest people in the whole country, could interpret this dream, and the king was perplexed. He didn't know what it meant. Well, God had prepared me for this moment. I'd gotten over the pride. I confessed my pride to Jesus, and he forgave me for that pride and enabled me then to give credit to God before I interpreted this dream. And I interpreted the dream, and I think you might know what the dream means as well if you know your Bible, right? It means 7 years of plenty and then 7 years of famine. And the 7 years of famine will eat up the 7 years of plenty. And I told the king, before I told him the interpretation, I said, all wisdom comes from God. James 1:5a tells us that if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all. And God gave me the wisdom to interpret this dream for the king. And the king saw that I was a good manager and that I had the wisdom that comes from our Creator. And so he appointed me in charge of the whole land. So you need to ask God for wisdom if you lack it. And your parents need wisdom because we have an election coming up. And so pray for them for wisdom, that they choose a good leader. And listen to Pastor Greg as he tells us guidelines for how to select our next president.